Hello guys, welcome back to S3D, and this is a very special video. This is going to be a comparison review between the Bandai HGUC Char Zaku 2 versus the Bandai Robot Damacy Robot Spirits Char Zaku 2. One is a model kit and one is an action figure. Now originally the plan was to do the HGUC Zaku 2, the regular one, the green one, the mass production version, versus the Robot Damacy Zaku 2, the regular mass-produced version, the grunt suits, the one I got for my birthday. Unfortunately, the HGC Zaku 2 is not happening. Probably gonna have to wait until March before we see anything, and that's gonna take too long. So one of my friend, viewer Douglas, sent me this model kit right here to compare to this guy. I actually had to go borrow this guy again from my one of my viewers, customer. Originally, he wanted me to make him a custom figure of the full bullet Zaku 2 using this thing, which I think was gonna be kind of crazy. But anyway, let's go ahead and do the comparison. So obviously, you can see the color difference right here from the model kit versus the action figure. And since both of them are actually based on the anime, I think this is apples to apples, sort of. Obviously, this is a $12 model kit versus a $30 action figure. Now, keep in mind, these are prices in Japan at release date. So this guy's around 12 bucks in Japan. I think in the US, you're probably paying around $15 to $18. 15 if you get it at a hobby shop, $18 if you're getting it at Target. This guy right here, I don't know. The Char Zaku was actually on clearance in Japan. You can actually get it as low as 25 bucks. But now this guy is probably worth around, somewhere around 80 bucks. So, yeah. Okay, so anyway, this one came out in 2019, 2020, and this guy came out in 2015. And the reason why they did the revived version of the HGC Zaku 2 is because Bandai's new model kit producer, or the guy who's in charge of the Gunpla, his name is Naoki Saida. He's a big fan of all the stuff on Tamashii Nations, the action figure, the toy division. So basically, a lot of his stuff is inspired by the design of the action figures. So he wants to make the Gunpla more like the action figure, which I think is awesome. We definitely need a Gunpla that has more articulation, engineering, and how do you say it? Playability. It's not just something that you built and then you display, and that's it. For $15, they just put it right in the middle. Japan $12, US $18. For something that's $15, this is a very good value. Any way you look at it. I mean, in terms of articulation, and you actually get to build it, is a pretty quality product, and it's pretty solid for a model kit. I mean, it basically feels like an action figure. Now, of course, this is made from ABS and this is polystyrene, so you can say, well, this plastic is a little bit more expensive than these, basically throwaway plastics. Polystyrene is like stuff you use to make like plastic spoons and, disposable food containers. Well, this is a high quality resin used to make stuff like keyboards, video game controllers, casing for your laptop and your computers and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the articulation. We're going to start with the Gunpla, because I think the Gunpla is actually pretty impressive. So right here, you have the design. Again, the design is very similar to the Robot Spirits because Naoki Saida, the designer, the producer, the guy who's in charge, is highly inspired by the Tamashii products. So anyway, we got the feet articulation here. We have a ball joint here for the ankle piece right there. You got the hinge right here. You're really not gonna get much out of that because all this stuff is actually hidden. But yeah, you get pretty good articulation. For example, you see the ankle rocker, and then you get another hinge here. So that's pretty good. And then you get the double jointed knees right there. That is pretty nice. And then we got the thigh cut. All right, so with the action figure, now you actually have a toe joint. This is something that's not going to happen on the Robot Damashi, on the Gunpla. Because, yeah, this is something that's only when you're paying $30, you get this extra points of articulation. Get the effect part compatibility. These things have no effect parts whatsoever. And you can see significantly more, somewhat more detail. I wouldn't say like, completely more detail. Looks like the figure has more thrusters. And yeah, there's just some weird design choices here. You can see the Robot Damashi has like extra thrusters, which I think that's what Char's Zaku has. But this one, the HGUC, does not have that, which I think is kind of weird. I don't know what they were going for because version anime, this is based on the original anime design. So if this thing is in there, these parts are on the figure, it should be on the HGUC as well because this thing is also inspired by the anime, right? I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, we also got the extra articulation piece right here. These things kind of drive me crazy. Sometimes they just don't look very good. Sometimes they'll be all the way in there like that. Depends on, how you're posing the figure. So it looks odd, like, you got a weird gap in there. And then you have to repose it. While the HGUC one is perfect. It's always going to be like that. Because the ball joint is actually well designed. It's just connected right in there. There's a little hole there for the ball joint. So that's perfect. This one, yeah, you get more articulation. You get slightly more detail. But then you also have more problems. But you also have, basically in here, you get the dumbbell joint. You get a ball joint right here on top right there, and then you get a ball joint in the feet. So again, you get very similar articulation. I would say the articulation on the feet is pretty much the same, except for the Robot Spirits, Robot Damashi figure having the toe joint, which this actually allows for more articulation and posability. So yeah, points will go to the Robot Spirits figure. And we also got the thigh cut right here. And this is where the Robot Spirits figure completely outclassed the HGUC. Well, it depends. With the HGUC, you do have the option to swap out the skirts for the TPE style thermoplastic elastomer. Those are actually rubber. Those are, actually plastic and rubber mixture. But those will allow you to access more articulation because the skirt is completely flexible. So anyway, the Robot Spirits figure, you have all these points of articulation allowing the skirt to go out. And you have the hinge right here. So you got these hinges that let you hinge the leg down so this guy can sit down. I'm pretty sure with the if you swap out the skirt, you can probably do the same thing with the HGUC. And you also have articulation like this. I wouldn't say you're going to get the best articulation here with these ball joints because they're ball joints to the hips. So if this was a universal joint, then this guy can probably do the full splits. But unfortunately, it's hindered. So this is all you're going to get. I mean, you do get extra points of articulation, but due to the fact it's, I guess we can call it somewhat poor design or outdated design, this guy is not going to be able to do the full splits. Now you do have even more articulation because you can actually hinge these. So it's very, like overly engineered. Okay, that's probably the word, overly engineered. Also have the hip piece right here. If I can get this open, basically this allows you to attach more stuff onto the back skirt. I mean, it's similar design with the HGUC. You have a little clip on top that will drop down, allow you to hold accessories and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the HGUC. I keep confusing the two, but anyway. Again, you have a skirt design that's very similar to the Robot Spirits because obviously I think Naoki Saida just basically copied that design and just somewhat dumb it down because you don't have all the articulation on the Robot Damashi figure. Unfortunately, the hips cannot drop down, So this is all you're gonna get, like that. Yeah, and the back piece likes to come off because why? Oh, because it's a model kit. So sometimes stuff tends to fall apart unless you glue it. So anyway, this universal hips. Well, believe it or not, it is actually hindered. I thought this guy can do the full splits, but it's actually the same as a Robot Spirits figure. The hip, since like the connection is a little bit lower, won't allow you to get the full splits. So technically, it's actually the same as the Robot Spirits. So again, I guess the points will have to go to the Robot Spirits figure again for over-engineered hips. But the Gunpla does have the option to swap out for the TPE skirts. Maybe that would help. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I don't see how that's going to help. It is actually limited directly at the joint. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe for appearances purposes. All right, so right here we have a ball joint that goes into the chest, so that allows like good articulation right there. And with the Robot Spirits figure, you actually have a dumbbell joint. You get a ball joint on the bottom and then ball joint on the top. So it's essentially the same thing. They designed it the same exact way as the HGUC. Well, the HGUC is a copy of the Robot Spirits. But the Robot Spirits, believe it or not, you actually have hindrance. You have some hindrance here. I am not sure if he's going to be able to do a full 360 on that dumbbell joint. So we're stuck. This guy, with the ball joint, you can actually extend it and then rotate it 360. So that's pretty good. And over here, again, just like the Robot Damashi, you have an accessory attachment point right there, like that. Again, the Robot Spirits figure has more detail. The proportion looks a lot better on the Robot Spirits figure. This looks more like the anime proportions. And this thing, I don't know, this thing looks like it's trying to be like the old HGUC. So anyway, I don't know, the Gunpla is supposed to win. That's what I'm trying to, I'm putting my money on the Gunpla. We'll see what happens after this review. All right, so we have more articulation here for the shoulder. Again, this very similar design to the Gunpla completely copied this design 100%. So we got a ball joint here, right here, and then we also got the swing out shoulders, articulation right there, and I think that is a ball joint. Yeah, it's a ball joint in here. I think it's a ball joint. It's really hard to see, but I think that's it's a peg. Actually, it's a peg. Yeah, it's a peg that goes into the shoulder. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the Gunpla. Right, so the Gunpla is actually attached in here via a ball joint. Again, these designs are exactly the same. So it's a ball joint that goes into the chest. So you have that articulation right there. And then you got the swing out shoulders, and you got a peg that goes into the forearm. I mean, the shoulders. So the design, again, is exactly the same. Now, the Gunpla does actually have another point of articulation right here for the chest, which I'm not able to access at all. But this supposedly allows you to move side to side, as you can see in here. Right there, if I can show you, this allow the thing to go side to side. Let's see, the Robot Damashi. Well, yeah, Robot Damashi also has it, so you can see. Again, the design is exactly the same. Now, the difference with the Robot Damashi figure is this hinge right here. It can hinge, the head can hinge up like that. There's a pivot right there. While the HGUC is the Gunpla, it's different. It pivots forward instead of back. So yeah, this thing can only look up this far, while the Robot Spirits figure can look up a lot further. You can see. All right, so the Robot Spirits figure, the pauldron is also connected via a ball joint, This one really gets in the way with the HGUC. It's the exact same design. But since it's a model kit, you can easily pop this off. So, but then you don't want to do that anyway. So, all right, now when it comes to the arm, it's basically exactly the same. It's just a straight up copy of the Robot Spirits figure. You got the ball joint here, you get the hinge right here, and then you get another hinge right here, like that. And you get that with the Robot Spirits figure too. You get one hinge that goes like that, and then you get the second hinge that goes like that. I know a lot of people, a lot of reviewers are saying, oh my god, this articulation on this Gunpla in 2020 is super advanced, right? Well, this design goes all the way back to 2015. So basically, Naoki Saida just copied a design from Tamashii Nations and then take credit for it. And yeah, this is like the thing with Gunpla reviewers. Everybody's trying to make you think the product is amazing when something exists, something that, similar already exists. But I guess, since it's a smaller, lower price point, you can say like, well, they can put all these engineering and then sell it to you for $15. That must be a good deal, right? Well, it is. That's the amazing part. They took all the engineering, all the design from, a very expensive, some people say very expensive, $30 figure, and sell it to you for $15 as a model kit. All right, so we also have extra articulation right here with this ball joint here on the wrist. This is the extra hinge right there, and then you got the ball joint here. Believe it or not, it's the same thing. Again, that's a straight up rip-off of the Robot Spirits figure. You get another joint right here, although this one isn't loose at all. Okay, so I guess what makes the Robot Spirits a little bit more... well, unfortunately, it looks like the Robot Spirits wins again because the wrist joint actually have a hinge. So you get the ball joint hinge right there on the wrist. So that actually gives them more posability. So once again, I don't want to be biased here, but it looks like Robot Spirits wins again with the extra points of articulation. They just have more advanced articulation. Now we also have another extra point of articulation here for the shoulder. This is actually a 2-point connection. You get the ball joint right there, and then you get another pivoting joint. And you get part separation on that shoulder armor. So the shoulder armor can go like this. The shoulder armor can go like this. The shoulder armor can go like that. Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, so let's see what the Gunpla can do. With the Gunpla, you just get one point of connection, I think. I don't think this actually does anything. Okay, well, it does. So let's see what can it do. So you get a point of articulation right here, which really doesn't, well, actually, yeah, you can do this. And you can do that. Can it go backwards? No, it cannot. The Gunpla cannot do this. Yep, they cannot do that at all. Because the peg is like that. You can't, like, yeah. I think with the RG, you can do it. With the Master Grade, you can do it, but not with the HT. So the Gunpla once again lost out on the articulation. Now, there is also the mono eye adjustment right here. It's adjusted this way. This is actually a different design. This is a very classic HGUC design. And the Robot Spirits require you to take apart the top piece like that in order to adjust the mono eye. So there you go. All right, so obviously the Robot Spirit is slightly more expensive action figure made from ABS plastic, while the Gunpla is, cheap polystyrene. So you can see, the parts on the ABS figures are obviously going to be more sharp and more stylized, while the Gunpla, are like, are more rounded out. For safety reasons, because Gunplas are mostly sold to 14-year-old boys in Japan. So there you go. Well, these stuff are sold to like old people, people who grew up with the original Gundam, who has a little bit more disposable income. So there you go. I hope you guys find this review very thorough. And you know what? Honestly, points goes to the Gunpla because this thing is $15. And yeah, if you're gonna army build, yeah, this I don't think people will be army building the robot spirit Zaku anytime soon unless they have a lot of money. But if you're gonna army build, definitely go with the Gunpla, the model kits. All right, so that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys find the comparison, the information helpful. I didn't plan this. I just got two of these in my hand and I decided to do this video. No scripts, no nothing. I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, hope you guys find the information helpful. Thanks for watching.